Demotivatorshow, the internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The main causes of illness and premature death in London, like the rest of the United Kingdom, are coronary heart disease, strokes, cancers and respiratory diseases. Other key health challenges in London include tuberculosis, issues relating to sexual health, including HIV/AIDS, mental health, and drug and alcohol misuse. It is likely that these issues and diabetes and obesity will continue to be priorities over the next 10 years. As London's diverse population increases, there's also likely to be an increase in diseases which are more prevalent in some black and ethnic minority communities, such as high blood pressure and renal diseases. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London currently has high levels of health inequalities with unacceptable variations in infant mortality and life expectancy across the capital. Tackling these issues is likely to remain a key challenge over the next 10 years. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The causes of health inequalities are similar to those that determine health in general, including, for example, housing conditions, employment opportunities, environmental factors such as pollution, the amount of exercise undertaken, one's diet and smoking, and access to health services. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Public health priorities. Life expectancy is stalling and health inequalities are widening. After a century of increases, the decades prior to COVID-19 pandemic saw improvement in life expectancy amongst the UK population stall. For some, these improvements went into reverse, Between 2010 and 2012 and 2016 and 2018, life expectancy among women living in the most deprived 10% of areas of England fell, with the largest increases in the northeast. The diseases now most prevalent within the communities include diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions, cardiovascular diseases, lung disease, cancers, and obesity. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. Professor Kevin Fenton, CBE. Kevin Fenton is the president of the Faculty of Public Health. He's also a senior public health expert and infectious disease epidemiologist who has worked in a variety of public health executive leadership roles across government and academia in the United Kingdom and internationally. His specialist interests are in tackling health inequalities, infectious disease prevention and control, climate justice, and urban health. Professor Fenton is the Regional Director for London in the Office for Health Improvement and Disparities within the Department of Health and Social Care. Within this role, he's also the Statutory Public Health Advisor to the Mayor of London and the Greater London Authority, and the Regional Director of Public Health for NHS London. He is also the Government Chief Advisor on HIV and Chair of the HIV Action Plan Implementation Steering Group for England. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, and when possible, attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African herbal medicine is a traditional practice that uses plants to treat a variety of ailments. Some examples of African herbal medicine include African potatoes, used to treat arthritis, diabetes, urinary tract disorders, tuberculosis, and prostate disorders. African geraniums, used to treat respiratory tract infections. Cancer bush, used to treat respiratory tract infections and menstrual pains. African milk tree, used to treat pain, ulcers, and skin conditions. Tecoma stands used to treat diabetes, amongst many others. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African wild potatoes, used to treat arthritis, diabetes, urinary tract disorders, tuberculosis, and prostate disorders. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African milk tree, used to treat pain, ulcers, and skin conditions. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African cancer bush, used to treat respiratory tract infections and menstrual pains. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredient to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African pepper bark tree, used to treat respiratory tract infection and STIs. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. Rooibos, or African red tea, used to treat inflammation, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. Dried, can be brewed into a reddish-brown herbal infusion. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax, when possible, attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. African Traditional Medicine Day on the 23rd of August each year. 25 African Union member states have taken the commendable step by integrating traditional medicine into their health sciences curricula, with 20 of these countries also developing training programs for both traditional health practitioners and health sciences students. These efforts are essential for ensuring that traditional medicine continues to thrive in a scientifically informed and culturally respectful manner. Demotivatorshow. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. Mixcloud too. Yes. Oh, yes. This is the Demotivatorshow. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. I believe I have our guest. Can you hear us? Alkaline. Can you hear us, first of all? Hey.
Blessed grand morning to everybody.
Hey.
Right. Grand rising.
Grand rising indeed. Grand rising indeed. Why? I understand you're way over there in the Caribbean. Where are you right now, that's Alkaline? Go on, tell us now.
Yes, my brother. I'm in Ochi. I'm sitting on my veranda.
Hey.
You know, beautiful.
Hey, no, I know where Ochi is, but you know, there may be a good few thousand people that don't know where Ochi is. Where's Ochi, man? Where's that?
Ochi is in St. Anne's in Jamaica.
Beautiful.
It's a tourist destination. Years ago, it used to be a fishing village.
Yes.
And the word Ochi Rias means 8 rivers. So 8 rivers flows into Ochi.
Okay.
So Ochi's got a place like Duns River Fall.
Yes.
It's got things like Mystic Mountain. It's got loads of different attraction here. The cruise ships comes in here. It's a mecca. It's a mecca of people from all over the world.
I feel so envious now of you. Oh lordy. Look, yes. I'm in wet and cold London right now. Lord, well, I can see it's rain outside. It's getting colder. Oy, what temperature is it there now? What temperature is it there? What temperature is it? Oh, have I lost him? Oh, have I lost you? Oh,
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Oh, I lost you for a second. Yes. What's the temperature right now?
29 degrees.
God. Okay. Right. Let me stop that now. I'm going to stop that. Enough. First of all, thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview. In today's show, what we want to do is to give light to how we can take control of our health and well-being using natural remedies, natural plants, natural actions. And you're going to teach me and the audience how to live a much longer, healthier life. And we're grateful. I know we may have another brother that may join us. He's currently in South Africa, I understand. We interacted earlier on. It's okay. I've sent him the link. Hopefully he will join us. But before I begin, my Ross, I know you, of course. I'm going to ask you, first of all, to introduce yourself. And in introducing yourself, I want you to conclude by sharing with the audience who is the most inspirational person? Who inspired you more than any other person? Can you hear us?
My father.
Oh, right into that. Why?
My father was a herbalist before.
Uh-huh.
Grandmother is also a herbalist. His mother.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me good?
We can. You can. It's like your volume has changed. Your volume has now changed.
What happens? Start raining.
Oh, that's better. Oh,
right? So I've come
look, he's
inside
in
now.
29 degrees, so he's allowed to move around. Yep. And he's in Jamaica right now, and they are 5 hours behind us. So in his time, it's night time over there. So we're grateful to him. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's
Can you hear
better.
me
Yes.
now?
We
Is
can.
that
Yes, we
better?
can. It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Give me the inspiration to doing this? It's a
Mm-hmm.
family tradition. We're a
Mm-hmm.
family of herbalists. My father was a herbalist, and he lived in Kingston, in the
Mm-hmm.
ghetto in
Mm-hmm.
Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Montego Bay. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I was born, Montego Bay.
Okay.
And
Yes.
he ended up in Kingston,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he started to do his trade. And
Yes.
people used to come from all over the world to come into the ghetto to see this man. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever I was a youth and I went to Jamaica and I see this happening, I'm thinking, how comes people is coming all over the world coming to see you in the ghetto? You know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he said, because of his medicine. And I started to learn. And every time I was in Jamaica, I was with him. Anywhere he was, I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere I was, he was with me. And as my
Yes.
children grew older and they started going to Jamaica with me, I started to introduce them to that lifestyle, to
Right.
their
Yes.
grandfather, what he
Yes.
does. And it just went from there. And
I.
actually, I
Yes.
use one of his recipe to make
Mm-hmm.
a tonic.
Let me get on
And
to that
that,
in a moment. Before you do that, I don't want to give too much away too soon. Too soon. I did want to begin first of all. So your father was your primary inspiration, okay,
yeah,
and it was following a family tradition of herbal medicine. Note the word
that's right.
herbal medicine, and what we mean by herbal medicine is that these are the plants. Plants are food, and the food is our medicine. Yep, I completely understand.
100%.
I completely
100%,
understand.
brother.
Completely
You know,
understand.
the
And
thing
what's
about
important? Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
the thing
Go ahead.
about medicine is is plants.
Yes,
Medicine is plants.
that's right. That's right. Yes,
You
yes.
know, and people don't
But
get it. They think
oh,
medicine is different from plants, but no,
yes,
it is the
no,
plants they take and make the medicine. But instead of
correct.
giving you exactly what the plant's supposed to do, they
Yes,
mess about with it and put
that's
heavy
right.
metals in it, and then
Yes.
mess up the plants itself, and then start
Again,
the
I don't want to give too much away. Hold on, my Russ. I don't want to give too much away just yet because you're going ahead of me too quickly. I do want to take this nice and slowly so the audience can be on our journey. So, your father, with your source of inspiration, is following a family tradition of herbal medicine. And this is common right across the Caribbean, right across those in Africa, in America, and of course the continent. It's usually these are family lines who have over hundreds, some cases thousands of years, developed a knowledge of the plants and their medicinal effects on our bodies, and thereby are in an ideal position to provide the right combination of plants to provide the medicine we need to cure any maladies that affects our bodies. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Oh yeah. So let me get into this. But I want you are Ras Alkaline. What is the significance of your name, Ras Alkaline?
okay. That
No,
name
Russ,
was
now you're
given to
moving away
me.
from this. I want you to keep in the center of your screen. You moved away again. So you've got to try and keep in the center of your screen.
Can you
You're
see
at the
me?
moment, you're on the
Okay.
side at the moment. You're on the side. But anyway, continue. Yep, continue. If you just move it to your left a little bit more, the camera. Oh, that's better. You know you're better. That's better. Yep, that's better now.
Okay. The name was given to me years and years ago. Years
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I changed the way my live it to alkaline live it. So
Yes.
I stopped eating meat,
Yes.
any type of meat,
Mm-hmm.
because I've done a show. What really
Mm-hmm.
happened? Years ago, I done a show with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was, we're talking about the essence of life and where these
Yes.
animals came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out that the beef, the cow, was made by God. is a crossbred.
That's
And
right.
because of that, our body can't digest beef. So when we eat beef, it decays in our stomach.
That's right. Stays there for a long period of time. Yes. Yes.
Many years sometimes.
Yes.
Many years. And when I found out about that, I decided to say, you know something, I've got to change. Then after that research, I done research about chicken and where that came from.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Yes.
chicken also is a man-made animal.
Yes.
Yeah?
Another crossbreed.
Now,
Another
that
crossbreed.
chicken
Yes.
came from the red rooster fowl. It's like a bird that used to run on the ground in Asia. And they crossbreed that. And then you get the chicken we have. If people remember rightly, years ago, you see how small the eggs were?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now look at the size of the eggs now. So we know, and can you remember on those days when you used to have that boiler chicken, how skinny it was?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Those was the original chicken.
It
So
is true.
over the centuries, what they have done is crossbreeding these birds and these animals until we now accept them as a part of our diet.
Correct. Correct.
So these foods are not food made by the creator. These are the food that's made by men. And because it's made by men, remember this, brothers and sisters, the body don't recognize it. The body only recognizes things that's made by the creator who created you.
Yes.
Anytime men get involved with any form of medicine or food, it's detrimental to our body. Our body can't recognize it. That is
Yes.
why it breaks down in our system.
Okay.
So, brothers and sisters, I'm not knocking the people who wants to eat these food, but I'm just bringing to light where they actually come from and what they're all about. The
Okay.
pig,
Yes.
pork,
Yes.
is also derived from what man made. It's
That's
not
right.
a natural phenomenon from the creator.
That's right. That's right.
So all these meats that is promoted and pushed to our communities all over the world are food that is made by men, not by God. But the thing about it is this: majority of people thinks it is food that is made by God.
Yes.
No, it's not. And that is why it's detrimental to our health. And that is why, if you look right around the world right now, people are crying out for help.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
going to a so-called physician or a GP is not the key. Oh, my brethren is just coming.
Yes. We're here.
Yeah, it's not the key for good quality health. You know, when you go to a person like us, we're trying to go to the cause of your problem.
Absolutely.
We look for the reason why you've had this problem in the first
right.
place.
That's right.
That's what we do. We fix the problem. We don't
Hold
put a
there
stick
then. Hold
across and
there.
over the problem.
Okay, hold there. Oh, there. That's good. Again, I don't want to give too much away just yet because you're going right to the kernel, right to the core of this. But before we do this, I want to introduce and first of all invite my good doctor, Aubrey Oliver. It is good to see you. It's been a few years since I've seen
Yeah,
seen
I
your
know it's been a while.
personage.
It's been a
Yes,
while. You
long
know,
time,
it's kind of
long time. Yes, and I appreciate that you found the time to join us today.
yes.
I know you
I
very
was on
well.
the road, so I had to rush back to because Joburg is another place, man. It's another beast.
Ah, ah,
So we went on the road, and it was the traffic, and
yes,
but I
it's
was
not a
hoping to get
problem.
back in time.
No way, it's not a problem. You've given away already where you are, but first of all, I know you well. Can I just ask you just to introduce yourself, say a little bit about yourself, but before you conclude, to share with me and the audience who's the most inspired person in your life to make you the man you are today, Doctor? Please introduce
Okay,
yourself. Go ahead.
I am Dr. Aubrey Jacob Oliver, and in some cases I've got my Ghanaian name, Dr. at all. I got that from brother Geb. But I basically study social science from early years, and then I went to med school, where I studied the physiology and neurology, since my specialty is neurological science, neurological surgical, and the science and the research and development of the nerve system.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I basically worked as a lecturer for a while, and then to do my doctorate, I went into complementary and alternative medicine. And so that's how I end up here. But my biggest motivator for what I do has always been my mother, since
Oh, well said.
as an
All
early
the
teenager, she
mothers,
gave
come on. Let's give a clap to all the mothers. Come on. Let's
all
applaud
the
all the
mothers,
mothers.
yes.
Go
My
ahead.
mother
Yes.
never stopped studying, and she never stopped
Uh-huh.
learning. And I think,
Yes.
even on her 80th, when she's in her 80s, she helped me with my math
Oh,
for
look
my
at that.
doctorate. And I mean, she was struggling with Alzheimer's at the time, a
Oh,
little bit of dementia at the time. And I
really?
remember
Uh-huh.
treating her, and she
Yes.
came back from the dementia to help me with my math. So I realized that we
Wow.
can reverse those diseases, and just her strength and her tenacity to heal herself was
Mm-hmm.
also a motivation to me. And so I'm basically about helping patients healing themselves, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
about us. Another physician can do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
the body that will do the healing, but we just have to
Mm.
provide the impetus, whatever it
Correct.
takes. We
Yes.
provide it. Yes.
Well said, well said, well said. And Ras Alkaline was describing how he changed his lifestyle and why his name's now Ras Alkaline. He's now vegan. I believe he does eat fish, but he's essentially vegan. Are you vegan? Do you eat meat as well?
I eat I follow one thing in the book. It says kill and eat,
Hmm.
so I'm eating.
Okay.
I'm on the seafood diet. I see
Aha.
food and I eat it, because in
Yes.
my
Yes.
research,
Hmm.
the centurions of blue zone areas,
Hmm.
Japan, Costa Rica, Sardonia,
Hmm.
all of them go back to the hunter gatherers
Hmm.
live it. We don't say diet,
Yes.
so we say live it.
Yes.
So what they
Yes.
eat is things from the ground, the roughage from the ground,
Hmm.
the sea, stuff from the
Yes.
sea, a lot of
Yes.
seafood, salmon, sardines, those kind of fish, and they do eat grass-fed animals that are fed by grass, not
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
what the Americans do now, where they feed them with grains that are full of pesticide, grains that are full
Yes.
of
Yes.
what the other thing? They're full of what you call hormones,
Yes.
and growth hormones to get these animals to grow fast. That is the problem. The problem is never meat or vegetables or whatever. You need a combination of all of them to be
Hmm.
to be nutritionally savvy. So you
Yes.
cannot neglect one and do the other. Most of my patients that are vegetarians, so-called vegetarians, and when they get the cancer and they have all this debilitating disease like diabetes, is
Hmm.
because they're malnourished. Their
Okay.
cells are malnourished. You cannot, like the Indians. A good example in India, most of them
Hmm.
are vegetarian. They don't eat cows. They leave the cows
Hmm.
alone because they worship that. So they eat a lot of vegetables,
Hmm.
but they have the most endocrinology problems of any nation, any race,
What does
because they
that
do get
mean?
more stroke. They
What
get
does that
more
mean?
strokes, more diabetes, more
Right.
things that are very prevalent. Heart diseases. All of
Yes.
those come from endocrine issues. Endocrine is what your balance your hormone, like your
Hmm.
insulin. Number
Hmm.
one hormone that we need for nutrition to
Hmm.
distribute in the body is insulin.
Yes.
So if you're eating a lot of
Yes.
stuff that is overcooked, especially overcooked vegetables, when I go to their restaurant, everything is overcooked. So there's no
Yes.
nutrients in it. All they're getting is the
Hmm.
sugar, and then they juice. When they do juicing, they
Hmm.
throw away the trash. So again, they're just
Yes.
getting the sugar. So they do
Yes.
have a lot of insulin resistant problem when there's too much
Yeah.
sugar in the body. So hence they do have a lot of heart disease, diabetes. The diabetes is what caused most of the strokes. It's not salt causing strokes, and it's not stress that causes stroke. Yes, stress add to it, but if you already have damaged tissues and damaged organs based on your diet, bad diet, then you're gonna. So yeah, I'm. If you get the right food, if you go back to hunter gathering when the hunter gatherers were living to 100, 200, 300, and having children in their 500, when Noah and those guys, those were hunter gatherers.
Okay, thank you. Now you've given us a lot of information there, and I'm going to, if I may, over the next few minutes, organize that information so that ordinary people can hear and respond. Okay, because if there's a skill I have to ensure effective communication. Okay, so both of you are skilled practitioners in herbal medicine, in what I would
No,
describe as
no.
tradition.
Let's correct that real quick.
Okay, please go
I
ahead.
I'm not a practitioner in herbal medicine. I
Okay,
rely on people like probably Alkaline and other people who have the expertise
okay.
in herbal medicine on a longer basis. But I believe that as a physician, I'm a
Okay.
physician who does
Yes.
research and development. So I believe that if you're going to heal the body, if you're going
Yes.
to help the body to heal itself, you need as much natural resources as possible.
Absolutely right. And thank you for that correction. So let me now just take this forward, because I want to ensure the audience relates the information you're sharing to themselves. Because often what happens is that we hear it and we believe it affects other people. Okay. Now,
Right.
I wonder if I may start with one of the big issues in the community, and let's start with obesity or fatness or overweightness. Notice I'm using 3 different descriptions for the same effect. Okay. Um, why is it, in your considered opinion, and if I may begin with Russ Alkaline, I'll come back to you, Dr. Aubert, Russ Alkaline, why is it that that particularly our women, that there is a prevalence of obesity within the community?
Okay.
Mhm.
If you look around and see how society have changed over
Mhm.
the last 20, 30 years, you
Yes,
can see a lot of the food what people are eating
yes.
is high processed food.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
These are food that is made in a place like a factory.
Okay.
You're talking about food that is pretty cheap.
Yes.
You can buy it cheaply in places, in supermarkets and those cheap places. And these foods are processed with loads of sugar, preservatives on these foods. These foods are put together cheaply. It fools you up for a minute and then you get hungry quickly. So you eat even more.
Okay.
So, and
Yes.
these food are detrimental to your health because
Yes.
it's got no nutrients or minerals offering in it.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Also, we must understand what's going on. The earth itself, where a lot of the farmers are using to plant their crops, they're
Oh,
deleted.
because the place is moist.
Over the years,
We've
got no
returned it. We have to
nutrients and
return.
minerals left in the soil.
Hmm.
So you're eating the food, but the food is giving you nutrients and minerals
Yes.
because the
Yes.
soil is depleted.
Right.
Depleted. So this is
Yes.
what's happening. So
Right.
if you think about the way a lot of women now are working very hard, they're
Hmm.
growing up their family. So for them, a lot of people is a quick thing to fling it in the microwave or
Okay.
throw it in the oven. A lot of these things like the chips, the crisp and the chips and so forth, they're also cooking canola oil. These oils are
Yes.
detrimental to our body. It
Right.
creates fat.
Right. Yeah.
Our
A
body can't
question,
digest
if I
these
may then.
kind of.
So just so I'm clear, and just for the benefit of the audience, and I'm very conscious of this, and I was going to put on the screen examples of some processed foods purchased by other members of my family, not by me, I might add. Okay, and I was going to note the levels of sodium, what is it? Sodium, okay, salt,
Yeah.
glucose, sugar, okay, the amount of calories, usually as a result of the food with seed oils in it, okay, and then lastly, and the one that keeps I'm reminded, that is the little, this relatively small amount of actual food and the bulks that are added to the food. In other words, the E numbers were all designed to bulk the food.
100%.
So, yep, okay. Now, when you read those labels, you could see that actual food is only 10%. The rest is bulking agents, as it were. Okay, that is the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. And of course, the overconsumption. In other words, I'm a 6 foot. 1 6'2" male. I'm what 130 or so kilos. Okay, now is that right? No, get it right. About 86 kilos. 86 kilos. Now, therefore, if a woman is 5 foot, if I say, if I get it right now, if I use the old metric term, if what 5'2", 5'3", but has the same weight as myself, you know then that woman is obese or fat, to use a common parlance, okay? And that is directly related to what she's eaten or he's eaten, or indeed the lack of exercise, and of course, more importantly, and this is really important, or the lack of exercise and the lack of water consumption as well, which has all contributed to the body being bulked out. And the reason for asking you that question, Moras, is it's really to get under the hood of this one. Well, why is there this increasing prevalence of obesity amongst relatively people on relatively modest incomes, whereas the rich people, those who are wealthy, appear to be slim and strong? Mm-hmm. Now, why is that? Is that because the foods that they're eating is cheaper and therefore and bulks them out, or is it that they
Well,
simply not eating? Ah, yes, go ahead, doctor.
let's touch on what's going on, the phenomenon. So we have the ultra
Okay.
processed foods, which are full of a lot of chemicals. They do put a
Yes.
lot of chemicals for bulking it up. You don't get any real natural food, so those are now damaging your endocrine system. You're
Yes.
basically there's also, everything is now processed with plastic. Everything, even your tea bags.
Mm-hmm.
If you do
Yes.
one tea bag each day, you have about some millions of microplastics, some 4 million microplastic going in one tea bag of
All
tea. So
right.
you're getting that in your
Okay.
tea. So you have
Yes.
something called obesogen. Obesogen is where there's too much plastic in your gut. So a lot of the filtering through the lymphatic system and the endocrine system
Mm-hmm.
and your even your neurological system is now impeded with all this
Okay.
plastic. Everything. If you look in every store now, everything is covered with plastic. Everything is wrapped in plastic. So we have a
Yes.
big pandemic of plastic in our diet, and that's what's killing, and that's what's causing a lot of the obesity. If you notice, plastic give
Yes.
you obesogen. Obesogen is close to what? Obesity.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
a lot of people don't know this science, so they
Mm-hmm.
basically, so you can, you can eat certain processed food, because when we're children, we
Mm-hmm.
eat Milo, we eat
Yes.
Ovaltine, those are
We did.
processed.
Yes.
We eat,
Yes.
we eat margarine, we eat chiffon
Yes.
butter in Jamaica. I used to eat
It's true.
chiffon butter on my crackers like it was nothing, you
That's
know.
right.
But today, they're now mixed with microplastic, so they're more damaging.
Right.
Today, they are now mixed with canola oil, which is more damaging. They're mixed with
Yeah.
other things like, when you were eating large fat as a child, when your
Mm-hmm.
mother, all she could afford was go to the butcher and buy the large fat from the
Yes.
pig, you
Yes.
were much healthier. Those people lived to 100 because their
Yes.
cholesterol was high, but it was good cholesterol.
Yes.
Nobody in the blue zone area live longer than the ones with the highest cholesterol.
All right.
Think about that.
Wow, that's
So all of
profound.
this,
Yes.
all of this modern medicine and modern food is what's causing the bad LDL in your system that causes a heart attack. It's nothing to do with meat, nothing to do with animal fats, because animal fat actually moves through your body faster than the synthetic fats, which is
Indeed.
the seed
Yes.
oils, because there's
Yes.
no oil in vegetables. There's no oil in canola flowers, those little yellow flowers. What they have to do is add sticky oil, the oil from even the processed oil from what we call fossil fuel, the same one that they put in the gasoline. They use the byproduct of that oil to make this clear, beautiful oil called Crisco and all the other
Yes.
oils that they have on the market that is all
Wow.
garbage. So
Wow. Yes. Yes.
the number
Yes.
one problem is the oils. Once it gets into your belly, it does not leave for 100 years.
Oh, 100 years.
Yes, you cannot get rid of those oils. That's why they have to go and do liposuction and all these things because, and
Uh-huh.
it just grows and grows. So that's the number one reason for obesity.
Wow.
It, too much of the bad oils in your system, and then they go and they clog up your arteries. They stay in your artery. If you're eating coconut oil, when my
Hmm.
grandparents used to eat coconut oil, all my grandparents and all of them were very in shape.
Yep.
My
That's
grandfather,
right.
he wears the same size clothes until he went to
Yes.
the grave. From when I
Yes.
remember him, I could wear his clothes. I still wear my grandfather's clothes.
Yes. Yes.
So he never changed. His body never changed. And what he eats his goat. He loves his beef. He doesn't eat
Yes.
pork because he's Seventh-day Adventist. And
Yes.
he eats his coconut oil. He makes his own coconut oil. They used to make their
Mm-hmm.
own coconut oil. We don't do
Mm-hmm.
that anymore. We buy coconut oil that could be processed
That's
from
right.
other countries. So it's the
And,
processed oil is the number one reason for the obesity. And
right.
then
Okay.
the processed food add to that because the processed food now is full of sugar.
Yes.
And
Yes.
those sugar clog up our arteries. Now, those sugar
Yes.
is also what cause our LDL to be so high, those
Right.
same sugars, because the liver is the only one that produces cholesterol,
Okay.
your liver.
Doctor, you using acronym to which most people are not aware. LDL. I'm familiar with the terminology, but you need to explain what that means. What is LDL?
Also, you have two kinds of cholesterol. You have the LDL and you have the HDL, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is hydrochloric acid and one is linoleic. The L is for linoleic and acid, right? But what they do is that your liver produce these your liver produce the good cholesterol HDL, and what that is when you eat the right food and your liver have to filter the good fats and so forth, it sends back to the body and the brain requires good HDL to function. That mushy
Right.
stuff that you see in your brain is cholesterol.
Okay.
It's the
All
same
right.
thing. It's the same thing in the yellow part of the eggs.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The yolk of the egg is what is in the
Yes.
brain.
Yes.
So that's the
Okay.
best. That's the best food for the brain. So how are you going to tell people don't eat eggs because you're going to increase your cholesterol? Of course, you need to increase your cholesterol with eggs,
Yes. Yes.
but
Understood.
they
Yes.
lie. The medical association lie, and the pharmaceutical they come together and lie to the people to sell something called statin drugs.
What is
So the
statin
more
drug? What's
statin,
that? Well,
yeah,
what is a
the
statin
more
drug?
statin drugs you take, the more statin drugs you take,
Mm-hmm.
is the more you will have something called dementia and Alzheimer's. That's why they're on the rise.
All right.
It's also the reason for erectile dysfunction in men, prostate
Yes.
issues in men, is because they're taking all the statin drugs. But it was
Uh-huh.
all a big lie in the last 40 years, 50 years, telling people that, oh, you can't afford to have high cholesterol unless you get heart attack. There's no studies that show that heart attack and high cholesterol are in relate to each other. What you know is that heart attack is because of too much plaque in your arteries. What causes plaque in
Yes.
your arteries?
Yes.
Plaque is caused from too much sugar. Sugar
Yes.
crystallizes, it gets
Yes.
hardened.
That's right. That's right.
So the whole medical profession is a big lie with what they're trying to sell because they work for the pharmaceutical companies.
Very much so. I can't
Another thing with
dispute.
that,
Go ahead. Yes, Russ. Yes, go ahead.
another thing, picking up on what the doctor's just saying. If you look, even here in Jamaica, you used to have some of the fittest women you'll see.
Yes, it is true. Yes.
Now in Jamaica, all you can see is fat women
Hmm. Hmm.
up and down the
Yes.
place. And it goes to show that the food that the doc is talking about, that I'm talking about, is
Yes.
detrimental to our health.
Yes.
We
Yes.
can't digest the food. The
Yes.
body can't break it down. So
Right.
it
Well,
doesn't impact
one of the trick they did to Jamaica, and you must emphasize why that is happening in Jamaica.
Please share. Please
The,
share. Yes.
Yes.
the American government in the late 70s, 19 in the 80s,
Hmm.
with Edward Seaga permission, they came in and sprayed our coconut tree, saying that there was some virus going around in the coconut industry, and they came in and spray ours and kill off our coconut plantation. Coconut oil is
Oh.
the only saturated oil that has no defect, causing no problem in the body. As a matter of fact, it cleans the body, it helps the nerve to function better, and
But
it causes your cholesterol to stay normal. It actually
Okay.
get rid of unnecessary fats and so forth, right? So when they
Yes.
killed the coconut tree, they were going around doing this in the Caribbean.
Oh
Do you know
my.
that Taiwan at the same time said, no, we don't need your spray. So now most of our coconut oils and stuff come from Taiwan.
Oh wow. Look at that.
Thailand, sorry, Thailand,
Thailand,
which is
Thailand, doc.
Thailand and Taiwan is two different places. So Thailand. Now, in Jamaica, what they did after they killed our coconut tree, they flood Jamaica with something called vegetable oil, their synthetic
Yes.
oil,
Right.
the one that they
Yes.
make, knowing
Synthetic.
that
Yes.
you're going to
Yes.
have a lot of sick Jamaicans. And at that time, in the last 40, 50 years, is when you have the rise in heart attack,
That's right.
strokes, and
That's right.
obesity in
That's
Jamaica.
right.
It's
Yes.
the
That's
oil,
right. Yes.
no other
Seed
oil.
oil.
Also,
Yes.
And
Synthetic oil. Yes. Mhm.
right,
Go ahead. Well,
finish
well
up, doc.
said. It's
Doc,
a that's an alarm for those of us who have traditionally fried some of our foods. You know, that's a clear alarm. Uh, the challenge we have, of course, is how to change habits. You know, and I want to just broach on that particular subject. I want to talk about diabetes at the moment, but I want to talk about how do we change habits. You know, there are some people. You know, we have the Dutch pattern. You fry the chicken and so on in the vegetable oil. You know, it's kind of tradition. How would you encourage? Let's say, just for example, Jamaicans, but this is exemplar for others as well, of course, to change habits. What's the alternative to frying the chicken, which is part of that cuisine that you and I will
if,
recognize? How do we
if you
change
think,
habit? Russ, yes, go ahead.
if you think about this, this
Mhm.
habit it's only been like this for the past 30 or so years, 40 years. Yeah?
50-50.
50, 50
The
years.
50
In the
years?
80s,
All right.
in the 80s, they started showing Crisco commercials, marketing heavily for frying chicken. The best way to fry chicken is vegetable oil. So that was
Mhm.
when I first got to the United States. I remember seeing that ad, and it looked so beautiful. They used this blonde,
Yes.
white actress, and everybody was,
Yes.
and everything was clean and white. And the chicken, they open
Yes.
it up and they show you the
Yes.
white meat after you
Yes.
fry it, deep fry. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
about 50 years now, 60 years actually.
Yes.
No, 50,
Okay.
50.
So they have changed the way we look at things in the last 50 to 60 years.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
there's a brainwash. Now,
Hmm.
the change it would be is going back to a more traditional live it.
Okay.
Using the same thing our ancestors used and eat years ago.
All right.
Trying to teach our children, our grandchildren, that what they have been offered now is death.
Okay.
And if we go back to our original way, we can start living again to 100, 120 years. Because if
Okay.
you die before those kind of numbers, you have died of ignorance.
I
You
agree.
have
So,
lacked
what is the
some form
difference
of
then?
ignorance.
So, just for the benefit of the audience, 'cause I know there'll be many women listening to this. If we don't fry the chicken, what's the alternative way to prepare chicken?
Okay,
Doctor,
let's say
yes.
something from something that is very
Okay.
important.
Okay.
The Almighty, Mother of all, did not
Praise
design
God.
chicken to be eaten.
Oh, okay.
We were
Right.
Are
not
you
supposed to
listening?
eat chicken.
Okay.
So what we were supposed to do with chicken was just to get the eggs for our
Aha.
nourishment. Egg is a perfect food. The only nutrients is not in egg is vitamin C that your body needs. So you have to supplement, but you can eat eggs every day and be fine.
This is true.
Because it has all of the perfect balance of the good fats that the body need, fiber that the body needs, and the protein that the muscle tissue needs to survive. That's why bodybuilders, all those big bodybuilders, they eat 10, 12 eggs a day.
That's
The
right.
problem with
Yes.
the bodybuilders is that they will eat other garbage and they'll take steroids. So that will shorten their lives because steroids will, kill your organs. But
Right.
if they were just the ones who live long, and you could see that they're healthier, most of the stuff they did was just protein, eggs and grass fed beef and those kind of things, right?
I understand you.
So, and that's the best source of protein for building. One of the things that I say to people, if you look at the SAD diet, which is Standard American Diet, its acronym is
Sad.
SAD, SAD.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
look at the pyramid, and that's what the Europeans follow, because once the Americans set something in place, the Europeans follow it. If you look
Yes.
at the bottom of the biggest part of the pyramid, it's all starchy foods. They recommend
Yes.
that you eat all this
Yes.
bread, all this
Yes.
cake, all this stuff.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's the biggest problem. It's not the
Yes.
problem is not meat. The problem is not eggs. The problem is eating that stuff, and that is
Yes.
the stuff that causes obesity because it turns into sugar. All of it turns into sugar. So you get
Okay.
obese. You get So what the body needs more than anything is a metabolic diet.
Right. Okay. Can
A
I, before
diet
you
does
just do that, forgive me, Doctor, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what it is, because I'm just conscious, and I just see the message about he hasn't answered the question about the alternative to frying chicken. I think what you're saying is
So
we
that's what
should.
we're on. That's the subject we're on.
Okay.
So if you look at the
Yes.
Japanese in the modern day time is of with modern countries that are full of toxins and full of other things, they're still the longest livers of all those people. Do you have people that live longer than the Japanese? Like I said, in the blue zones, like in the Mediterranean,
Yes.
there was areas in Africa that people used to live long by just eating, the natural stuff from the land. Hunter
Yes.
Even
gatherer.
Jamaica.
Yes.
Over in Costa Rica, you have these people that live long. They eat eggs and they eat rice every day and they do this. The Japanese eat rice every day. So the problem is
Yes.
not the starch. Rice is just the only starch they eat. The Japanese in the morning, their first breakfast, what they eat as breakfast is what we tend to want to eat as dinner.
Ah. Okay.
So they eat their
Uh-huh.
heaviest meal first thing in the
In the
morning.
beginning.
I work.
Yes.
I see it firsthand. When I was in university in the United States in New York, I worked at the
Yes.
biggest Marriott hotel to pay my way through college. I would make a lot of
Yes.
tips, and I would make
Yes.
my tips. The Japanese, they would come all the time. This was in the 80s, and they would stay at the Marriott, and we had to get up early in the morning to have their breakfast ready by 7 for them to come down. It's their tradition. They come down at 7, and in their
Right.
breakfast, they would have salmon,
Right.
seaweed.
Okay.
They would have a broth that is made from bone broth, beef bone broth. That's what they would drink, a bone broth soup.
Uh-huh.
And these people never show a weight problem or anything. They were always, I've never seen a fat Japanese came in that place.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Of course, it's changing because the Japanese are now welcoming American fast food. So a lot of the young Japanese kids are eating, McDonald's and KFC and all the bad stuff. But the
Yes.
traditional Japanese who are still living to 100 and still walking around healthy, they don't fall for the fast food.
Right.
So the alternative to chicken, fried
Mm-hmm.
chicken,
Mm-hmm.
is to do more soups, more fish. Try to get the healthy fish like sardines, and because I remember when we were in our community, the older
Yes.
folks that were strong, the
It
men
is
that
true.
were walking
It
tall,
is true.
they all
Yes.
needed to
True.
eat is tin mackerel and tin sardines.
It is true.
That's where they used to get their
Yes.
protein from,
It is true.
and they were the
Yes. Yes.
strongest people in the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But as the women, I've just noted that another woman just asked that question. Well, 'cause they're addicted to fried
Right.
chicken, and the question
You
has been
can
asked.
fry.
What about What about olive oil? The other one is olive
No,
oil. Is a question that's been put to me. Olive oil, is that a suitable alternative?
it's a good
No, olive
olive
oil
oil is
is
a
a
good
suitable
oil.
alternative because it is a it is olive oil is a monosaturated, so it has
Right.
Yes.
one little issue, and that issue
Yes.
is you really shouldn't heat olive
You
oil,
can't what?
especially virgin olive oil. The only oil
Okay.
that can withstand heavy heat and doesn't become a toxic material like plastic, you turn it into plastic, is
Right.
coconut oil. And also the one seed that I recommend is grape. The one that they, when they get when they make the wine from the grape,
Okay.
they press those seed and get oil from it.
Right.
Grapes,
Right.
not
Also
rape. You
avocado
know, you
oil,
know, we
doc.
saw, we saw Wazungu put rape
Mm-hmm.
close to
Yes.
grape. So a lot of
Yes.
people are eating rape seed, think they're eating a healthy oil. No, you're getting
Right.
raped. That's all you're
Right.
getting.
Okay. We don't want to say that word here on YouTube. They don't like that word. But anyway, okay.
There's
That's
there's another
helpful. That's very helpful. If,
stop a minute, doc.
okay.
Martin, there's another oil we can use. It's called avocado oil.
Aha. Okay.
It's a
But you
nice
Excellent.
cannot
oil
you
to
cannot
fry.
heat it too much.
Okay.
Avocado oil, you can sprinkle it on your food and so forth, but it's still once it gets too much heat, it turns into plastic.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I'm
So you
not
have
going
to
to.
be
I won't
careful.
go there for the moment on
But
that one.
let's let's
Okay.
reiterate what he said. Avocado has one
Yes.
of the best oils.
Yes.
So if you
Yes.
eat your avocado
Mm.
rather than trying to get the oil, you're much better off.
Thank you. The other big question being put to me, of course, is around diabetes. Okay.
Oh,
The increased percentage of those with diabetes, every other black family in the Caribbean, diabetes or high blood pressure is prevalent. Okay. What can we do about this?
What does the Caribbean people like the most?
Oh,
What do they
sugar.
love to
It is
eat the
sugar.
most?
It's the sugar. The
No, not
sugar. And
sugar.
so,
No, no, they
rice.
love
oh,
bread. They love
oh, bread.
bread. They
It is
love
true.
they love
Hardo.
they
Yes.
love
Okay.
cake. They love
Yes.
all those things, and all those things
Mhm.
turn into sugar. You're right.
Indeed. Indeed.
Fried food,
So
sugar.
what can okay? So your response is reduce the quantum of bread or sugar that you're ingesting. Okay, but
Yeah,
sugar, as
reduce.
I can testify, is addictive. You know, I
Right.
grew up with a sweet tooth. I took over 10 years to wean myself off sugar. 10 years. Yep, gradual reduction. So I no longer purchase sugar from the stores. It is
But
tough.
you do need sugar in a
Mhm.
natural state, like the fruits and
Yes.
stuff, because your
Yes. Yes.
brain, the only way your brain function. That's why there's an addiction to sugar, because your
Yes.
brain demands sugar
Yes, it does. It
for
does.
its
It does.
functionality. Yes.
I
So
concur. Um, but
right.
Doctor and Russ, but the challenge for us of all, because sugar and diabetes is such a prevalent condition, disease,
All
lifetime
right. So
disease in the
let's
community.
let's
Yeah.
look at diabetes in our community.
Thank you.
A
Yes.
lot of it is
Yes.
a lot of it is a big lie. So you go to the doctor
Okay.
and he
Hmm.
takes your blood. He takes your blood and he do a H1B C test, and he
Yes.
says, "Oh, your sugar is high today, and
Hmm.
we're going to put you on this medication."
Yes.
Instead of them telling you that, okay, we see that your sugar is high, you need to come off some of these foods that you're eating
Yes.
and
Yes.
become less sedentary. Because one of the big problem of diabetes is sedentary lifestyle. It's not so much even the foods. People not
Um, um,
exercising, people sitting in front of the TV, people not walking,
yes.
people driving everywhere they're going. They won't
Okay.
tell you these things. What
Mm.
they should have been prescribing first before metformin and insulin injection and all this stuff is an exercise routine. Get
Absolutely.
busy,
Absolutely.
get
Well
moving,
said. Well said.
you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So these people who are lazy and still want to live that sedentary lifestyle jump
Yes.
for the prescription drugs.
Hmm.
The prescription drugs make matters worse. And the prescription drug is going to kill you before the diabetes kills you.
Indeed. Yeah,
And
indeed.
and and
Uh,
remember this.
yes.
Remember this. Brothers and sisters, anywhere you are.
Mm.
If you put a prescription drug is in your mouth, your body perceive it as food. If you put a prescription drug in your mouth, your body perceive it as food. So you're giving your body chemical food.
as a poisonous food.
There you go.
Your body receive it as a poisonous
100%.
food.
So
Mhm.
that's what this is first thing was teach our people. Because they see medicine different as
It's
from
separate
food.
from food. Yes, yes, yes.
But
You're
our
right. You're
body
right.
don't see that.
Yes. Okay.
It is food. And let me tell you,
And
let me tell you one of the big secrets
mhm.
of these pharmaceutical companies. They tend to tell you you cannot eat salt.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
And they said to you that salt is the biggest problem. So if you want to keep your blood pressure down and all that stuff, take our medication and stay off the salt. What is the main? All right. First of all, when you have a stroke or a heart
We
attack and
see
you're
it.
heading to
We
the
see it.
hospital,
Uh-huh.
what do you think that saline bag that they hook up in the ambulance that they put into you right away? What do you think that is? Saline.
salt.
Saline.
It's
Salt.
Okay.
nine. It's 900. It's 9,000 millimeter of salt.
Okay.
So salt is actually the cure. What do you think? If you look at the medication they're giving you for high blood pressure, it's sodium again. The number one mineral that your body needs is sodium to live healthy, for your heart to function properly, your kidneys to function properly, and your liver to function properly. It's sodium. What is sodium? Sodium is salt.
Salt. Yes.
So they
And
know. So they
also,
know this. So they know this. So what they've done with the medical association is tell the medical association that tell the people that they should stay off salt, so we could make it in a package and make it very expensive for them, so we all make money. So every time you prescribe a sodium based type of medication, you make a certain percentage. So the bottom line is all about money, why they're hurting us also, why even we have a pandemic.
And to be
and
clear,
remember
Doctor, just to be
this.
clear. So just so we're clear, when we describe salt, is it mineral salt, in other words, those mineral salts, or the plain white salt that is particularly
Oh,
found in
The plain
grocery
white
stores here?
salt, the plain white salt
Hmm.
was Rockefeller's idea of poison. The plain white
Oh,
salt you see there is it's there's a lot of things added to it, like mercury. There's things added
yes.
to it like aluminum,
Uh-huh.
cadmium. So that plain white salt will make
Uh-huh.
you sick.
Yes.
So you have to
Yes.
go to get the mineral salts from them that they know is the healing
That's
force.
right. Yes. Well said.
So
Thank you.
the table salt is designed by Mr. Rockefeller himself
I,
to
I,
make the population sick.
hold on, hold on. Just for this, I want to give a disclaimer. I'm in no way endorsing with that statement, okay? And if Mr. Rockefeller or his family's listening,
But
I'm no
Rockefeller,
way
I don't think
endorsing that
he doesn't
statement.
own YouTube. He doesn't own YouTube. He's just a famous name.
I'm just saying, just for the record here, but I hear you. So the mineral salt is the salt that we should purchase, as opposed to the plain
Yes,
white salt, which is effectively a processed form of salt. Yeah, which has
yes, yes.
yes.
So
additional
the salt
poisons.
that you
Yeah.
need, the best salt you need for your
Hmm.
health is Celtic salt.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
If
And
you can't
Celtic
get your
salt is
Celtic
a description. Yep. Oh, we
Celtic
can't
salt is
quite see it.
it's hand sorted salt from the sea.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's useful reference point for the audience who are listening here. And the last question on the issue of
Can you see that?
diabetes. Yes, we see that. Thank you, Russ. We
And
see
it's
it. We
gray.
see it. We
It's
see it.
gray, right? It's not
You've
white.
used Celtic salt. I want to just tackle the. We're talking about both from diabetes and high blood pressure simultaneously at the moment. I just want to make sure we've it's clear from the audience point of view what you're saying in relation to both conditions. Doctor, in
Yes,
relation
they're
to
cousin. They're
high
cousin.
blood pressure, let's talk about high
We
blood
call
pressure
them
for a moment.
cousin. We call them cousin condition. They're from the same root problem, the same
Hmm.
insulin resistance problem. That means
Yes,
you damage your endocrine system. You cannot produce the insulin, and so two of the disease you're going to get is high blood pressure,
yes,
high cholesterol,
yes,
and diabetes. All three of them
yes,
related to the same disease,
yes.
insulin resistance problem.
Okay. Now then, I wanted to spend, if I may, the last few minutes is really just talking about the change lifestyle. And if I were to ask you, if I start with you, Dr. Aubert, if I were to ask you, what do you intend to eat today? What would be your response? What would you have for your breakfast, for your lunch, maybe mid-afternoon brunch and evening meal? What would be your typical day? Please share with us, because you're our example, you see. So come on, here we go.
So this morning, I was planning, when I got up this morning, I was going to make myself, because I fluctuate. I think you need to balance your livet with at least 3, 4, 5 vegetarian meals a day. I mean, a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you mix it up with the metabolic diet and metabolic livet. And so today, when I get up, I was going to make a shake, and I have some lotus supplement, lotus from Lotus, breadfruit powder. So that shake would consist of lotus, which we call stinking toe in Jamaica,
Thinking so.
the powder,
Yes.
breadfruit powder, and then I'm going
Yes.
to add fruits like some blueberries.
Okay.
I do have some. I have some raspberry, which is a red one, but it got
Right.
spoiled, so I'm gonna have to put in maybe some pineapple. I do have some cherries, but in the
Mm-hmm.
morning you need that heavy energy, fruits and good protein from natural sources. You
Right.
know, and then
Yes.
I'll put an avocado in it, half
Okay.
an avocado, because
Okay.
avocado is very rich in
Yes.
healthy protein and
Yes.
healthy oils. All
Yes.
right. And then I will take a supplement of a balance oil, which is an oil between different fish oils mixed with a little bit of olive oil. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a balance oil. You need to get that
Yes.
every day in your body. We have
Yes.
that. I have that available. So if my patients or any of your listeners need that, they just
Mm-hmm.
contact me and I'll tell them how to get that balance oil. But that balance oil is most important, along with that natural protein, natural energy source of fruits, and you blend them together. Now, be careful you don't blend certain fruits with certain fruits.
Right.
Watermelon and most of the melons, like papayas and stuff, must be eating singular. So you don't want to blend them
Okay.
up with different stuff, because they are diuretic and they
Right.
will fester in your stomach and cause other issues, even to the
Right.
point of stomach cancer, because when they fester, they cause a cesspool.
Right.
So
I understand. Yes.
parasites, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you have to be careful what fruits you're eating in the morning. Also, when you're doing a
Okay.
mixed up, when you're doing
So
a
that's
when
the
you're doing a
morning.
smoothie.
Okay. So that's the morning. What for lunch? Or do you have a mid-morning brunch, or do you go straight to lunch?
So usually when I eat my, even in the morning, if I do a beef broth,
Okay.
just the broth with I put my eggs and my vegetables and all that stuff in it.
Mm.
I tend to not want to eat. That's why the Japanese, they don't eat, they don't snack in between and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay. Yes.
maybe a few hours later I might have a salad. A salad in
Okay.
the evening is always important, like a vegetable salad with some sardines or whatever
Mm-hmm.
your favorite protein is. You can have that
Yes.
for dinner, but
Yes.
nothing heavy as the morning, because you stop working, your body's getting slowing down, your digestive system
Yes.
is slowing down. So why
Yes.
go and have a heavy dinner with steak and all this stuff and salmon? You're hurting yourself, and rice and all these things, and that's what the Western diet has been doing to people, hurting them,
Right.
because
Well
they
said.
they get up in the
Well
morning
said.
and have a
Yes.
cereal, a cereal. This is what they'll do. They get up in the morning and have Kellogg cereal, right?
Oh
No,
yes. Sugar. Sugar.
no
Mm.
nutrients, and then they go to
Mm.
work and work 8 hours and eat something in the middle of the day, maybe a big lunch, yeah, which is good for energy, and then they come home and eat a bigger dinner than lunch.
Yeah.
What is the point?
That's
You're
right.
already
Yeah.
damaging your organ with that stuff in the morning. The
Yes.
sugar stuff, which is the
Yes.
cereal, the bread, the toasted bread with jam on it. All the stuff we used to have for breakfast was a big lie.
Yes. Okay. These are very important lessons that here we are. I've got a wow from a young lady who's listening to you at the moment. Okay, wow. They definitely want to reach out to you. But before you go, I did want to put the same question to Russ Alkaline here. And you may want to, Russ, refer us to some of your tonics and how people can contact you. Go ahead. What do you
Okay,
eat today? What will you be eating today?
I'll be having plantain porridge
Plantain porridge. Why? It's been a long time since I had that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know,
I envy you already.
I'd have cinnamon in it. Cinnamon is
Okay.
very good for your body.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and that's what I would start off with. It's probably some fruits.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the West Indies now, so anything I
Uh-huh.
can get my hands on, I'll
Uh-huh.
have. You know,
Uh-huh.
I don't eat a lot of food right through the day.
Yes, this is true.
In the
Yes.
day, I might have some coconut water,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to give me
Right.
some energy.
Mm-hmm.
And in the evening, I might have like anything to do with some salad type of food.
Mm-hmm. Yes, plant
You
based.
know,
Yes.
that's what I would
Okay.
have. But I want to step back 1 second.
Okay.
You're talking about diabetes and the epidemic they say is in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And people are frightened when they hear these things
Yes.
because the European will tell you you'll be on these for the rest of your life.
Indeed. Yep.
That's what
That's
you've been
right.
told.
Yes.
Majority of people start panicking straight away.
That's right.
But the doctor is there, I'm here. And there's so much things we can do
Mm-hmm.
to take you off these medication
Mm-hmm.
and get your body to start creating its own insulin again.
Yes.
Because that's what it is. The body
Yes.
stop creating insulin. Insulin we know we need to put the nutrients and mineral around our
Back.
body. And
Indeed.
if that's not
Indeed.
happening, there's a blockage. There's not
Right.
happening, something is stopping that from happening. And a lot of the time is the pancreas that is loaded and overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't do the job it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
So there's
I mean,
things what can you
all cells are overloaded with sugar, so
Mm-hmm.
they're resisting the insulin from going in because there's too much sugar in the cells.
too much
Right.
sugar.
Okay.
So, and also with the medication, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of heavy metals in it.
Yes.
Mercury and so forth, cadmium, and
Yes.
they've put in these medication. So it's a double whammy for the people who is on these medication.
Okay.
You're dying very slowly.
And plus, the purpose of the medication is to force insulin into the cells that are already stock up with sugar, so it doesn't work. It
It
doesn't
It's
doesn't
not
work.
work.
effective. It's not effective.
You can't force insulin into cells that have already been full of sugar. So
Right.
the biggest turnaround for diabetics is number one, you have to
Mm-hmm.
clean out your cells. You have to do a blood
Yes.
cleanse, you have to do a mucus cleanse, and
100%.
you have to do a free radical cleanse. That's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing when they tell you that you're a diabetic. You should do. Never
Yes.
take their medication. Come to
Yes.
us. Get me on my WhatsApp. It's 07776794360. Again, 07776794360. And the reason why I say that about the cleansing, I have diabetic patients here in South Africa. I have diabetic patients in the United States. I have diabetic patients in Jamaica, and I have diabetic patients in London
Mm-hmm.
and the UK. And I remember as I put them on those cleanser, the
Right.
first week of on the cleanser, their sugar
Yes.
goes back to normal. The sugar is
Absolutely.
at six
Yes.
point, below
Yes.
7.
That's
And
right. That's right.
they'll be like excited, call me, man, I just start taking the cleanse 4 or 5 days and my sugar is normal. I say, yeah, because you're cleaning out your cells. You're cleaning out free
That's
radical
right.
cells. You're cleaning out. But they'll come back to me a few months later and they're struggling with sugar again. So I said, what are you doing? You're still eating the same food. Oh yeah, we went
That's
back
right.
to our cookies and our cakes and our
Mm-hmm.
bread. I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, no. Once you clean out, you now have to change your whole limit
Limit.
system.
Lifestyle. Yeah.
You got to
That's
stop
right.
eating the bad diet, and then
Yes.
So once I have them on a good limit, which I recommend, and I tell them what to eat, what to drink, what not to take, what time of the
Yes.
day you must do this.
Yes.
Once they follow that, they
Yes.
never go back on medication. They never go back to their. As a matter of fact, in Jamaica, I remember one lady when I cleaned her up, her general practitioner saw her on the street and said, so and so, Stephanie, I haven't seen you in months. You haven't come to see us. And she said, oh no, since Dr. Oliver cleaned up my system, I'm fine. I'm not coming to see you no more. Of course, I get a bad name because
Oh yeah.
she cleaned up her system. I just gave her advice. But these doctors hate me. I'm not lying to you. In Jamaica, I
Yes.
got a letter from the medical association that I
Ooh.
must not tell people I can cure diabetes.
Ooh. Look at that.
That is
They,
Look
they,
at
why
they
that.
warned
to
me.
be on the
They
ground.
warned me. That means
Yes.
they will come after. The next thing they will send their henchman after me. You'll hear that I
Yeah.
have a accident or somebody coming to my house to rob me or something. Because I've seen it happen to other naturopathics in
Yes.
Jamaica.
Yes. Yes. In other words, this is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Exactly. It's their bread
100%.
and butter. Don't touch
That's right.
it.
That's right.
Now,
Okay. And we're going to change. Again, before you come back, Ross, I want to make sure it's clear to the people that we are going to change. What I'm really pleased through these podcasts and other places, that the consciousness of our peoples are rising. The consciousness of people is rising. They understand that it is as a result of their lifestyle, what they're doing to themselves, that's bringing on these conditions. And those
Exactly.
members of the community are ready for the change to make a difference in their lives because they want to be happy. They want to live long, healthy, fruitful lives. Although when you're in that mindset, then they're ready to receive these messages. Okay, and increasing numbers of our people are ready to receive these messages. Boy, praise the Rastafari, and
so
we'll certainly succeed. Most certainly succeed. I'm just conscious of time, and I'm going to ask you, Russ, because I want you to refer to your website, Last One
before I
Standing,
do that,
and the
before I
tonic
do
drinks that you provide. Go ahead.
yeah, before I do that, I'm
Okay.
going to show you some of the things your people can talk about with diabetes.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Organic Corella. Yep. Powder. Yep.
Chlorella
Yes. Uh-huh. What is
cleans
that
heavy
powder?
metal out your body.
Uh-huh. What is it? What is
Balance.
Corella?
It's a powder.
Uh-huh.
Comes from the
Yeah, what is
sea.
it? What is it? What is it? It does. Corella is from the sea. It's a
It's
marine
from the
type of power. If anybody knows anything about your history, we
Mm-hmm.
as humans came from a marine source. We were
Indeed.
developed from a marine source. So marine
Yes.
is one of the things that we need. Corella is one of the algae that is
Aha.
grown on the bottom of the sea. So all those big fish and all of them, that's what they live on. And whales live for a long time on those
Yes.
kind of things by eating the small fish who eats the algae in the bottom. So
Yeah.
Corella, spirulina, and they serve different purpose. So
Yes.
Corella actually helps the cells to to feed the cells, to clean the
Okay.
cells
juice.
and feed the cells.
Okay.
That's right.
So after you do a mucus cleanse, after you do a free radical cells cleanse, and after you
That's
do
what
a
they do.
blood cleanse, then you can do things like Corella. It's in phytoplankton and other resources. Yes.
So
Brilliant.
the
Brilliant.
people
Thank you for that.
diabetes, these are the things they're supposed to look. Look at this. Can you see
Another
that?
one. Can you pronounce that for us? Can you read it for us? We can't quite see it.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. Explain, please, doctor.
Also,
Explain that one to us. What is that? What is that?
So ashwagandha is another herbs that one of the main function of ashwagandha is to deal with stress at the end of the day. So before you go to
Mm-hmm.
bed, I recommend patients taking ashwagandha.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to realize that what ashwagandha does, it replaces it deals with your stress hormone. It balances out your stress hormone, which is from your adrenal gland. So a lot of times we damage our organs like our
Mm-hmm.
liver and our pancreas with cortisol. Cortisol is a stress organ hormone which
Yes.
we excrete all day because a lot of us are in a stressful
Yes.
environment, stress with children, stress with this, stress with that. So that's one of the things that are damaging our inside. It's not only
Mm-hmm.
sugar is killing us from the inside, but there's
Right.
also those extra um, damaging hormones which are
Okay.
there for a reason. They're there to protect
Yes.
us from emergency. But nowadays everybody's stressed about the most stupidest thing. Someone cut you
Yes.
off at the highway, you're stressed about it. So
Yes.
we're constantly releasing cortisol. Cortisol is a testosterone killer, and
Mm-hmm.
it's also for women, it's an estrogen killer. So
Yes.
if those are the two functions that we need as hormone to function. So if you don't, so ashwagandha is one of those things that helps deal with the stress. But what these herbs that we're showing you and what he's putting up there, they're not cures for these disease. The disease will be rectified by you changing your lifestyle. Now, you taking these other supplements are the supplements that helps your body detox itself,
Yes.
get rid of stuff that is not supposed to be there, and that's
Yes.
why they're very important. Which one is a hawthorn berry?
Hawthorn berry.
Hawthorn berry,
Yes.
doc.
Explain that one to
Hawthorn
us.
Yeah, so
Yes.
berry.
hawthorn berry, helps with high blood pressure, neurological disorders. The neurons, when the neurons in the brain are dying, because once neuron in the brain dies, they don't replace themselves. That's one of the
Indeed.
only cells that doesn't replenish itself. That's why
Right.
Alzheimer's and those things are on the rise, because as you kill the neurons for memory, the neurons for functionality, you're basically killing those functions.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
hawthorn berry, ashwagandha, and those things are a good replacement to build back neurons.
Right. Okay. Another one. Three fruit. Tripilia.
That's
Vitilia. Is
that's
it?
Tripla.
triphala. Yeah, that's
Tripla.
triphala. But triphala is a cleanse. So you want to take triphala when you're going through a cleansing routine, because triphala will clean the blood, it will clean the organs, it will clean tissues. So it is what we get rid of free radicals. It's one of the free radical cleanse that I recommend.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So
And
these are the things.
if I may, Russ, just so we're clear, you wouldn't recommend that the audience simply purchase these things. It should always be under professional supervision, guidance. Would that be right?
100%,
They
brother.
are. But they do the cleansing. Yes, they do. They should do an assessment to see if what is needed, because a lot of times certain diseases is a lack of something else,
Yes.
and
Yes.
certain diseases too much of something. So when they come and
Yes.
they talk to us, we can see what to remove, what to replace with, and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Because they are, I'm familiar with most of these, but to know what quantity or frequency to use is the issue. So therefore, you should never purchase without you being under some professional guidance. It's always under. You always take advice before purchasing. Would
Yeah,
that be right?
because you could do damages. I know people
Yes.
who go out and they take all these herbs because somebody over here said this herb is good for you. Somebody over here said this bush is good for you. Somebody over here said this plant is good for you. And they end up in the hospital after getting surgery for a
That's
twisted
it.
intestine,
Yes,
where
that's
it's all
exactly right.
twisted up, because these things are just as strong sometimes as medication from the pharmaceutical.
Thank you, thank you. And my Ross, your last one standing, and your tonic drinks. Give us an indication of what you have for us now.
Okay, you remember the start of the show. The doctor was talking about when you're sick, the first thing they give you is a drip. And the drip has
Saline,
got
yes. Salt, yes,
sodium in it.
yes.
So the tonic that I have developed is called electric alkaline tonic. Has
Oh,
got
what does that mean?
18,
When you say electric alkaline, what does that mean? Just so
well,
that the audience understands.
it's alive. It's a live
Aha.
medicine or herbs you're taking. Each and every one of these herbs are balanced. So it's got sodium in it, which is from natural sources, like
Okay.
the doctor said. Nothing to do with stable salts, nothing to do with these heavy metals. It's from plants and leaves and barks.
Okay.
It's got potassium in it, which your body needs. It's the electric part of our body. Also have calcium in it, which is the originality of your bones and your muscular cells and your muscles. So these are the things you need to function. Now,
Okay.
we are living in England. We're not getting enough vitamin D from the sun.
Indeed.
So we
Yes.
certainly need to increase calcium in our liver.
Yes.
But the food
Yes.
we're getting, we're not getting enough calcium in it.
Yes.
So we are lacking calcium. So
Yes.
as you get older, especially black people in England and these cold places, you see them bending, where their bones
Yes.
are getting thinner
Yes.
because not getting enough calcium. So as you get older, you're bending over, and that's the reason why. So this was developed for that,
Right. Okay.
to increase calcium in your diet. So one shot of the electric alkaline tonic is half your daily calcium needs.
Okay.
One shot.
So how can the audience get hold of the electric alkaline tonic drinks?
You can go on my website. This is last one standing, one word, .org.uk.
Okay.
There's shops in Brixton Market, that sells it. Latin Caribbean shop in Brixton. There's shops in Thornton Heath, Herbalife. We is at Cosmic in Romford Road. There's Winties in Forest Gate. These are areas where people know these places.
Yes,
There's Soulful
in London. Yes.
Pharmacy in Leytonstone. There's Tree of Life in Seven Sisters Road. So there's loads of places, and you can go on my website and you see the addresses. There's Barking Road. There's other places, and you can get hold of me.
Okay.
You can get hold of me and 0794 991 8424. Thank you.
There you go.
This is some of me. That's me and some of the products that we produce.
Yes.
Irish moss, sorrel, lemonade. These are all natural herbs, natural
Wonderful.
drinks
So
that
Irish
we
moss,
produce.
sorrel, lemonade, alkaline tonic. Wow, this is good.
Yes.
And of course,
All natural.
the public, of course, can also obtain those. I recognize it. Every Jamaican will recognize it. The cerasee, which is a must. I see the daisies, the soursop leaves. Oh gosh, another one.
Yep.
Spiced leaf herbs, the sweet broom, the toyu, and of course the eucalyptus herbs, which is very, very important. Very, very important.
And we have just
very,
produced
very, very good.
We have just come out. I've just come out with another one called the Parasite and Worm Cleanser. Because
is it on your website?
When you do a cleanse, brothers and sisters, doing a cleanse is fine. But we need to get rid of the worms, the parasite, the fungus.
Yes.
The bacteria.
Yes.
And the viruses in our body. So doing a cleanse
Yeah,
is one thing.
if you're doing a cleanse, you especially a mucus cleanse. A mucus cleanse does all of that because it is what causes the mucus in your gut is the parasites, the antigens, and the pathogens. So you will be cleaning those things. Now, what you have to be careful of is that you make sure the ingredients in these cleanse consist of something that kills the babies, the eggs, and the adult parasites.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I've invented that, to get rid of those. Because you can have a cleanse and the eggs are left there. So after a few weeks, it comes back. So the
It's good to yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the problem is not solved. So this is what it's all about. It's about balancing and understanding how the body works and how for we to deal with the body.
Okay.
You know?
So the website address that I have on the screen, it's www.lastonesstanding.org.uk. Lastonesstanding.org.uk. There you are. I thought I'd put it on the screen for you. I knew you'd enjoy that. Go back here now.
Now,
Back on the screen.
Just one warning, because we do have a lot of kidney problems because of in our community. That's one of the biggest problem, and it's because in your kidneys there is about 3 different pumps, and they run on sodium. So by you're eating the bad sodium, you destroy those pumps. They need real sodium, so that's good. But they can also be destroyed by too much potassium. So we have to be very careful that if we have a kidney problem right now, you cannot take anything with a heavy potassium in it.
Thank you for that. Which is why I want to keep reiterating for members of the audience, always seek out professional advice before making these purchases. Get the assessment first of all to determine what it is you
Exactly.
need. Thank you. Okay.
Exactly.
I think we're almost at a close now because you've shared an awful lot of information. Um, I, I want to conclude by saying this. It's what both of you are exemplifying is our African traditional medication, traditional medicine, which has enabled us to survive for hundreds, thousands, if not millions of years. And it was interesting as we began before you arrived, Doctor, that the Russ was reminding us that it's his family tradition. It is handed down from one generation to the other. The knowledge of how to use plants, which is essentially food, to cure our bodily, indeed mental, and sometimes spiritual maladies. Okay. And it's that knowledge that is profound and it permeates throughout our communities. So what we're doing today is giving you but an example of that knowledge, that obvious knowledge that's enabled us to survive for so long. And we should, of course, be always wary of new chemicals that are simply a patented chemical of the original active ingredients of the plants that we've discussed today. Okay, because that's how the pharmaceutical industry survives. Okay, now I've not
And
had
again,
the
we
go ahead.
have to remember
Hmm.
that the body's healing is, it's just that we give it the right impetus to do that. The body will heal itself, and we cannot we none of us can do it actually more than just
Yes,
provide the right nutrients, because a lot
yes,
of time it's
yes,
a lack of minerals. And
yes,
which mineral is what you need to find out when you come to get your assessment. What mineral
yes,
is my body lacking? Is it sodium,
yes,
potassium? Is it,
yes,
selenium? Selenium is one of
yes,
the most powerful mineral that, and we don't even talk about that. And it's needed in every cell function. Vitamin D is not a vitamin; it's actually a hormone. So
Hormone.
every cells need that hormone to function,
hmm,
along with insulin. Every cell need insulin to function.
yes,
Then you have
yes,
hormones. You have tons of hormone. You have about 32 different hormones that the body needs to function. So when you come, you're getting an assessment, because the body is one cell in the body is as complicated as a Mercedes AMG.
absolutely. Yes, one
So
cell. This
that's
is one
why
cell. Remember.
that's why you need the right you need the right body mechanics.
Yes. Well said. I love that analogy. Love that
And
analogy.
also,
Okay.
when you come to us, the
Hmm.
assessment you get, we are looking on all of your 37
all,
organs.
all
We are looking
47
at
organs. 47 organs.
47 organs we're looking at one time. And we're looking at these in a holistic way. We're not looking
Yes.
in pieces, we're looking at all of it. So we can see the breakdown, and we can see where if you have a problem, we can actually see exactly where the problem lies, where there's
Hmm.
circulation, where there's your arteries, whatsoever it is, the system that is breaking down, we can actually see what is happening. So that's how we can really deal with any problem you have.
Understood. Now, I must say, I didn't actually open the phone line, but I seem to have a few inquired if I was going to. I wasn't. I figured that we'd almost concluded the interview, but if you're happy for another 5 or 10 minutes to take maybe one or two calls
Yeah, we
on the
take some
line.
questions. No problem. No problem.
Okay, thank you, thank you. In that case, I will open the phone lines and I will just put the number on the screen. So the number to call to interact with these inspired African men. The number to call is as follows. It's, if you're in the UK, it's 0208 133 5616. I repeat, if you're in the United Kingdom, it's 0208 133 5616. If you're overseas, of course, you remove the zero, it's +44. Now, I'm going to open the line for 10 minutes, okay, for 10 minutes. please don't wait to the 9th minute to start calling, which is usually what happens here. But the phone lines are now open. The phone lines are now open. If you wish to call and speak directly to these inspired Africans, okay, who are exemplifying the traditions of African herbal and traditional medicine practices, and incorporating those practices with these modern techniques and so on, and are then providing sound advice for you to resolve those typical public health concerns, which include overweightness, obesity, diabetes, yeah, hypertension. We haven't talked about cancers yet today, but that's one, and respiratory
Well, we
conditions
don't,
being
you know,
another.
you don't need to, you don't need to talk about cancer, because cancer is also the
Okay.
root. The root of cancer is also the same thing that causes diabetes and all these things. It's still an insulin resistant problem. Your cells not getting the right amount of nutrients, so they mutate into another stage. It's like they're trying to survive the environment,
Good
so they
morning.
mutate into
Can you
they,
hear
they,
me? It's Councillor
into
Pauline
free
George.
radical cells. So
Okay, I've got a call on the line.
those are cancer cells.
Okay, thank
Go
you for that.
ahead.
So I've got a call on the line with number ending 3504. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Can I have your name first of
Good
all?
morning. I'm Councillor Pauline George.
Oh, good morning to
I
you.
really appreciate your comprehensive lecture. You have actually raised a lot of my, knowledge. I've been a nurse and I've served NHS for 45 years. At the moment, I am a counselor, and I'm glad that you took your time. I mean, all the way from Jamaica. I was in Jamaica 3 weeks ago, and I know it's very late in the night now. Thank you so much. One thing I want to express to people, because I used to teach on the radio. I used to do a lot of research for so many years, over 20-something years, at the Niger FM, Surprise FM, and Ben Television, and all those ones. But I stopped since I became, actually when I was elected as the mayor of Lambeth. So I got very busy. LDL, please, is low density, okay? LDL is the low density cholesterol, and the HDL is the high density one. Because a lot of people are calling me that, let's say it in the layman's way, high density, low density. High density
the
is the good
layman
one.
term.
It's the good one, yeah?
Yes.
And then the
Right, and
LDL
you want
is the bad one.
have that at the highest, yes.
Yes, okay, you want to have the LDL as the highest. So because you were using too much, I'm sorry to say that, a lot of jargon that people do not understand.
Okay.
But I mean, you came out of
Right,
your
right,
way.
right.
And it's just spread the LDL low density, HDL high density. The good one is the HDL. Okay? What I want to ask, because I know you can help me better, you know our palm oil. Palm oil.
Okay. Yes.
Palm oil, the real palm oil from home, because I'm going on holidays for 1 month. Is it good? Because they keep telling us it's not good. I haven't done any research on that. Can you spread any light on the palm oil?
Well, the palm oil, there's a big rise in heart diseases and stuff in Africa in the last 30, 40 years. Most of our men, will die by 50, before 60 from a heart disease. But, they try to blame it, and like what they did in Jamaica, try to blame these issues on our oil, our local oil, like coconut oil and palm oil. But palm oil is one of the healthier oils as far as a seed, because you can actually press oil out of the, so what's causing a lot of
One moment, everyone. Hold on. Cancer, could you just
what is
hold on?
causing
He's
the
responding to you. Yeah, go ahead.
what is causing the premature death in Africa now? It's not palm oil. It's things like Maggi and those synthetic processed food, margarine, butter, vegetable oils, and those things. But palm oil has been around from the beginning of time. Palm oil is like coconut oil. It has one. It's a little bit better to me to cook with than olive oil, but it's not as good as coconut oil. But it's better than vegetable oil.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to do a lot of research on it, but I just wanted you to share your own knowledge on it. And the other one, you've talked about Maggi. The fact is, I tell everyone, they're just killing us with the Maggi.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Sorry, I think I may have
Maggie
lost her.
Maggie is what we call the widowmaker.
Yes. Sorry, I think we may have just lost her for a second there. I've got another caller on the line, 4391. I'm sorry about that. I think something happened there.
Yes, Grand Rising,
The
Demotivator,
motivator.
and Grand Rising, Russ
Yeah.
Alkaline, and Dr. Jacob. It's chance to be here.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Chancellor, how are you?
Oh, brother.
Yes, I'm good, thanks. You know,
I haven't heard from you in a
basically,
while, man. When I get back next week, I want us to sit down again and talk about our show plan.
yes, definitely, most definitely, anytime, Dr. Jacob.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my mother's been taken into hospital now. Like, she had a fall and stuff, and I'm kind of grateful that because I know a bit of medical terminology. I was there and stuff, because there was bamboozling. There was bamboozling my rest of my brothers and sisters with this terminology. I just would like you to explain to the listeners, this medical terminology. I really think it's designed to really play on your nerves and get you nervous, because they like to brandish words that most people don't understand it. So I'd like you to explain to the viewers and listeners the difference between chronic and acute.
Okay, so
Okay.
in my section, I remember a couple of years ago, I was using I'm trying to build muscles because, as I get older, I want muscles. So one of the things to get your testosterone in order is to build muscles. So what I was doing, I was taking a natural testosterone builder. Natural. They say it's natural plant. And I remember a month into using it, I went to the bathroom from a trip from Jamaica to Kansas City, and I went to the bathroom right off the flight, and I realized I was having problem urinating. So what I did, I flew back the next day to Miami to see my doctor, and he told me it seemed like I've developed prostatitis. He gave me some medication and stuff like that. But I knew how I treat my patients in Jamaica, so I left to Jamaica that same couple of days later, and I went down there and I started drinking certain things and so forth. And I came back to the U.S. a month later, and I saw the doctor, and he said to me, "It appears that you had an acute prostatitis," because now he doesn't see anything.
Okay.
So he doesn't see the swelling of my prostate. It's all gone because I went and treated myself and came back. So an acute situation is something that can develop overnight. You can have an acute stroke where it's a quick 24-hour stroke and it goes away. And when you get tests and stuff, they don't even see that you had a stroke. So it's something that can happen in the spur of over time, based on certain stress level, based on something you're eating that's not right for you, based on a certain poison. So you get an acute situation. Now, chronic develops over time. And then cancer is a chronic illness. Cancer is a chronic illness. Diabetes is a chronic illness. Certain what we call autoimmune diseases are chronic illnesses, and they happen over time of damage of cells. I mean, cancer is damage of your mitochondria and your those cells and your what you call your. So those are all chronic situation because they happen over a period of time and they set in to your system as a disease, and they become a disease like cancer. It's a disease that is a mutation of your what we call it your mitochondria, but most importantly what's the stuff there your what we call our DNA. It's a damaged DNA. When you damage your DNA, that is chronic because it's hard to reverse damaged DNA. It's hard to reverse neurological issues. So, like your mother falling, she probably have a chronic neurological issue where her neurons are not replacing or replenishing or regenerating because they don't. So you have to find another new pathway. So that becomes chronic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very well explained. Thank you, Doctor. That's respond to your question, please, caller.
Yes, yeah.
Good,
No, well,
good.
I kind of know it actually, you know, but I
Okay.
just wanted to like, because I found like with the rest of my family, like when they heard this chronic thing and you
They're
know,
nervous. They're
and remember they're
nervous.
pushing this
Yeah.
assisted
Yes.
passing or dying,
Yes. Yes.
you know, and the next thing they said to my brothers and sisters like they've got her on the DNR red list, you know,
Oh, they
which
must
means do not
resuscitate.
resuscitate in case you have a heart
Gosh.
attack. You know, I mean, I could see why they put her on that list, you know, because like you know, she's she's in her 90s, she's very frail, she's bedridden and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, to do like heart compression massage, yeah, you know, would create more damage and stuff, you know. But because they dangled this chronic, like they said, chronic kidney problems in at first, they kind of like nudged my brothers and sisters into this, you know, like oh well, assisted dying kind of position and you know that kind of thinking, which I think they're doing that with a lot of elderly people, you know. So I just
Right,
wanted
right.
like you to
Okay.
clarify that, you know, don't be too frightened, you
How
know,
old is she?
when you hear these terms.
91, I think. I
Sorry,
think
yeah, no.
91. Is that
How
right?
old is she?
90.
91?
95 actually.
Oh, 95. Okay.
Wow,
95.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
She's living, you know, she's one of those few that get to live a good old age. So that's, you know, we take our hat off to her. But she's not ready to die yet. I mean, it's because of
No.
lack of certain
No.
things why
Yes.
she's having
Yes.
these issues. And I
Yes.
mean, I talk about my 90-year-old patient in Jamaica that I work with when everybody comes home wishing her adieu and trying to get her to think that she was going to pass that same month, just from cleaning her up. She lived
Yes.
another 10 years. So she made it to
Yes,
the centurion. So,
Awesome.
you know,
yes, yeah,
when I come, I mean, I need to come and see her when I get back, see what, you know,
yes,
what's
yeah.
going on there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be back
I
next
mean,
week.
like
I'll be back next week.
I think you should also highlight you know the social aspect to longevity. You know, having
Right.
your family come and your community around you, and
Yes,
you
yes.
know they involve you
Really
too. They don't just
important.
put you in a wheelchair to sit out on the veranda or in a
That's
corner.
right.
You know,
Yes.
Right.
you're actually part of a community.
Yes.
I would definitely, in my family, I would testify that gives us extra years, definitely, and boost your health. You know, just being proud of your
Exactly.
family will
Exactly.
make you
Yes.
feel and
Yes.
vibrate healthily. If you get
Yes.
what I'm saying.
Very good.
Right. Was she on heavy high blood pressure medication, diabetic medication in her life, or she didn't take those
Yes.
things?
Yes, especially recently. I mean, like I would say, me personally, my mum is an experiment for them because, like, they convinced her to take the
Right.
experimental vaccine, the experimental injection.
Right. Right.
They've convinced,
Right.
you know, and the amount of medication she has, and she's
Yes.
sharp as a razor.
Right.
You know, so
So
I
that's
kind of look
that's
at it
what
like she's
killed
an experiment,
that's
really,
what killed it. That's
and
what's
I
killing our
think a lot of us
kidneys.
are. Sorry.
That's what's killing our kidneys. Anytime you're on, you
Oh,
know, you're the
definitely.
experimenting with these medication, the kidney is the one that suffer the most.
Yes, yeah. At the present moment, she's constipated, so I'm just going to give her a mild laxative, and that is I'm going to take a honeydew watermelon, you know, the yellow ones, and just juice that
Yeah.
and make her drink it. Within half an hour
Yes.
to an hour, she will have a bowel movement because, like
Yes.
they want to give her an
Yes.
enema. She doesn't want that because, yeah,
No,
I think she
give her the
started
natural thing. Yeah.
probably even poking her.
This is
Sounds good.
Well done,
a beautiful
Chancellor.
call. A beautiful call. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Mr.
that
Moffat.
call.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see you
Thank you.
guys when you get back over. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, my
Blessed,
brother. Yeah.
blessed, blessed, blessed to you. Oh, that was a beautiful call. And, you know, love for our elderly, you know, and you're right that, look, she's in her 90s, but really we should be living to 120 years and above. Okay. That should be
Yeah.
the goal. The 90s are still too young, you know, each of us here are approaching the 90s, and we know when we arrive at 90 years old, we're going to be fit, vibrant, and ready to go for another 100 years or more. You know,
Exactly.
it's very much a mindset,
Right.
and wherever possible, avoid the pharmaceuticals. In my case, most certainly, I'm not such a friend of them. Sorry, pharmaceutical companies. It's just the way it is. Natural food, in other words, natural herbs, ensuring that you exercise, ensuring that you're properly hydrated, ensuring you have the right amount of minerals because they're vital to our body's vitality, and ensuring, of course, you eat the food at the right time of day. And I think, Dr. Jacob, you pretty well described it. Eating your main food in the mornings, okay, and you eat a light meal in the evening, if at all. And
If at all,
it,
right? And
go ahead.
the fact that you didn't mention, the cancer thing, because the cancer thing is set up by, again, the Rockefeller Foundation about 100 years
There
ago,
you go
when
again.
they realized that. No, I'm just saying, that you can research this. We're not saying anything that is not,
Okay.
they set up the Cancer Society because they realized that their medication that was fossil and mercury based was causing cancer. So
Aha.
those are causing mutation of cells. So we don't want to scare people with the big C, because that's what they do. They
Agreed.
create the problem, and then they create
Agreed.
this big name, cancer.
Agreed.
Cancer, as we know it today, is simply blockage,
Yes.
things that are turning into fungus, things that are
Yes.
turning into parasite
Yes.
nest,
Yes.
virus nest, too
Yes.
much mucus in the blood. Those are all
Yes.
what boils down to what cancer is. So
Yes, yes.
we don't want to elaborate on the big C when we know what the key root of the problem is.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Uh,
Also,
okay,
also,
Ross.
they come up with stage 4 this, stage 3 this.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know about the stages or what it means, but what that does to ordinary people, it scared the living daylights out of them. Oh, you got stage 4 cancer. You get frightened. And
That's what
that's
we're
the
trying to
reason
avoid. That's why
why
we
it
said
don't
we're
work.
not making a big deal about the cancer in the first place, because we know what it is. We don't want them to even think that these stages mean anything.
Which is why I don't
Nothing.
mention it. My last, that's why I don't talk about it, okay? I don't talk about it, because you're right. Because that's the knowledge through my family line. It's understood. It is understood, okay? And in these podcasts, these are information based, factually based, and they're designed to empower. So you take control of your health and
Right,
well-being.
right,
Praise Jah, praise
right.
Jah. I'm going to
Lovely.
compliment you both for providing you a rich source of information. We should do it again in a few months' time, because it's quite
Yes,
evident
yes,
that there's a thirst for this information. Intuitively,
yes,
the vast majority of our peoples knows that the current lifestyle is harmful, is damaging, is causing them sickness. And what they want is the right information so they can make the right decision to improve their health. And I'm heartened. Just before this interview, you will have seen I played a recording, primarily of a group of Africans from different parts of the continent and the Caribbean, who've come together in common aim and common purpose to exercise together. They take their blood pressure, they check their sugar levels, just to ensure that together we can make a difference. Because we all work together, we're able to transform our health as a collective mentality. That's true communalism, not communism,
right,
communalism. We take care of each
right.
other. We're sensitive to each other's needs and wants. Praise be. Is there,
And
and first of all,
you
if I
can
go
listen to
to,
us on Friday morning on
yes.
Galaxy. We come and we talk about how
Mhm,
the body heal itself. That's what we
mhm.
focus on. Mind, body, and soul is the name of the vibration moment.
Good.
Balancing mind, body, and soul. So you can get us on Galaxy on Friday morning at
Mhm.
9 a.m. London time until about midday. We do 3 hours. But
Brilliant,
yeah, we'll
brilliant.
definitely talk about continuing this conversation. I think we need to now focus on helping our people. There's a battle that's going on to annihilate our people, and I think
Indeed.
we need to take that very seriously, because they're doing it through food science, and
Yes.
these food science is what's
Mhm.
hurting us.
It's difficult to argue against that because it does seem to be self-evident that if you look at the African American population, it has not increased over the past 30 to 40 years. That's
Right.
highly unusual. And that's because of the numbers of early deaths, the levels of,
Yeah.
morbidity or illnesses, and therefore
Food
early
science,
deaths
exactly.
occurring in that
They've
community.
been using food science against the African American community through eugenics for the last 50, 60 years.
It does appear to
And
be so.
you had an organization that set that up from about 80, 90 years ago. And believe it again, I'm gonna mention names. Ford was a part of it. The lady that started the other organization called Planned Parenthood, I forgot her name. She was a part of it. The Rockefellers were part of it, and so they all was in cahoots of how to lessen the Black American population through eugenics.
Indeed. It is a subject we should maybe next time delve further into. But
Yes, we need to do
I need to
that.
put the evidence on the screen so that we can take
Right.
the audience on a journey. Because I know for
Yes.
some it will be not believable, but if you put the
Yes.
details, the facts, the
Let's
evidence
do
before
it.
them, they could do that. Okay.
And let's get someone who's been researching it for the last 50 years on. I don't know if you know the conscious Rasta,
Oh yes.
Kidi, Chef
Yes.
Kidi Awadu.
Yes. Yes.
He's been
Yes.
researching the eugenics in our
Mm-hmm.
society,
Mm-hmm.
self-suicide, race suicide. He's been
Mm-hmm.
researching our own genocide among ourselves and how
Yes.
it's so effective to Black Americans that if we continue down this trajectory, we're going to be phase out. We're going to be black
That's right.
out.
It is true. It is true. And that's what we need to, we will add that discussion. But if I may say so, Doctor, you've been truly a remarkable guest. You provided clear information that the audience can use to take control of their health. Okay. And I pose that question, how to change habits. Of course, ultimately, it's about how to change one's attitudes to what you need to change, because it's really about
Exactly.
attitude. I've found attitude. Once you're clear about your attitude, that you want to affect these changes, those changes will happen. But you do, but
And
I want to urge, yeah.
another thing real quick that we find as a bigger problem in the UK is
Mm.
loneliness. There's
Yes,
too many of us living on our own, not
that's
having
right.
that social interaction.
That's
And
right.
loneliness
Yes,
is worse than
yes,
drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and it does more damage than those disorders.
yes. Whoa,
So people
that's
people
powerful.
need to find us. Yes.
Mhm.
So that's another killer because we tend to be isolated by this system. We're
Mm,
only 1 million or so black people in UK,
mm,
and they isolate us so much that we're hurting ourselves and dying faster than they are because of the same reason.
mm.
Every week I see another person that they're looking for their family member. They die in a hospital and nobody know who they are.
That's right. Yes. Hmm. I will, if I may, I'll come back to you on that one. It has been brought up previously, but I haven't had the opportunity to do the research. And maybe you and I have a discussion, and maybe in the new year, let us have a
Yes,
discussion on this loneliness, because it has been brought up on more than a few occasions, and I believe it's worthy of a further exposure. But we need to have solutions. Identifying the problem is one thing, but it's
yes, yes.
solutions. Yeah.
Solution. So
But
let's
let
talk about that and get that
okay.
going. Yes,
Thank you.
I'll
I,
I'll
I want
come
to
back and
thank
we'll
you for
talk
your
about that.
thank you for your time this morning, and thank you for the extra time you've granted to us. And I hope you've got
No
as much
problem.
out of it as we have just listening to
Yeah.
your wise words. And if I may, I want to, on behalf of the people, to congratulate you for your works, because your work has been resounding across Britain and Europe, across the Caribbean, and of course across the motherland of Africa. I want to thank you
Yeah.
so much for all your work, and long may you continue this work. Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you, my brother.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you. Yes.
We'll talk. I'll get in touch with you. I'll
Thank you.
get
I
in
look
touch with
forward
you.
to it. Blessed to you.
All right,
Blessed.
no
Take
problem.
care.
Blessing,
Bye-bye.
blessing.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Wow. There you go. There you are. Whew. That was quite something. There's a lot in there. A lot was packed in there. And I hope you would agree that the information shared was untainted by profit, untainted by greed, yeah, untainted by envy. It's information provided with love. Yeah. It calls upon information that is, in fact, information that's always there in the public domain. But often we need that to be placed right before us so we can actually see it. And I urge you, some of the natural remedies that have been presented to you, before taking any of them, always obtain professional advice so you can determine the correct dosage, the size, and frequency. But these are the natural plants that we have used for tens of thousands of millions of years. Pharmaceutical companies simply use the active ingredients in those plants to create profit for themselves. But these plants are what has enabled human beings to live for more than 100 years and beyond. So remember, you decide the change. And in the intro video, we make it clear it is your decision, because ultimately you want to be healthy. You want to be happy. So I say unto you, until the next time, I am the motivator, where we translate our words into action, and where success is out. Demotivatorshow, the internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The main causes of illness and premature death in London, like the rest of the United Kingdom, are coronary heart disease, strokes, cancers, and respiratory diseases. Other key health challenges in London include tuberculosis, issues relating to sexual health, including HIV/AIDS, mental health, and drug and alcohol misuse. It is likely that these issues and diabetes and obesity will continue to be priorities over the next 10 years. As London's diverse population increases, there's also likely to be an increase in diseases which are more prevalent in some black and ethnic minority communities, such as high blood pressure and renal diseases. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London currently has high levels of health inequalities, with unacceptable variations in infant mortality and life expectancy across the capital. tackling these issues is likely to remain a key challenge over the next 10 years. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The causes of health inequalities are similar to those that determine health in general, including, for example, housing conditions, employment opportunities, environmental factors such as pollution, the amount of exercise undertaken, one's diet and smoking, and access to health services. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Public health priorities. Life expectancy is stalling and health inequalities are widening. After a century of increases, the decades prior to COVID-19 pandemic saw improvement in life expectancy amongst the UK population stall. For some, these improvements went into reverse. Between 2010 and 2012 and 2016 and 2018, life expectancy among women living in the most deprived 10% of areas of England fell, with the largest increases in the northeast. The diseases now most prevalent within the communities include diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions, cardiovascular diseases, lung disease, cancers, and obesity. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. Professor Kevin Fenton, CBE. Kevin Fenton is the president of the Faculty of Public Health. He's also a senior public health expert and infectious disease epidemiologist who has worked in a variety of public health executive leadership roles across government and academia in the United Kingdom and internationally. His specialist interests are in tackling health inequalities, infectious disease prevention and control, climate justice, and urban health. Professor Fenton is the Regional Director for London in the Office for Health Improvement and Disparities within the Department of Health and Social Care. Within this role, he's also the Statutory Public Health Advisor to the Mayor of London and the Greater London Authority and the Regional Director of Public Health for NHS London. He is also the Government Chief Advisor on HIV and Chair of the HIV Action Plan Implementation Steering Group for England. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5, prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect. Rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African herbal medicine is a traditional practice that uses plants to treat a variety of ailments. Some examples of African herbal medicine include African potatoes, used to treat arthritis, diabetes, urinary tract disorders, tuberculosis, and prostate disorders. African geraniums, used to treat respiratory tract infections. Cancer bush, used to treat respiratory tract infections and menstrual pains. African milk tree, used to treat pain, ulcers, and skin conditions. Tecoma stands, used to treat diabetes, amongst many others. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African wild potatoes, used to treat arthritis, diabetes, urinary tract disorders, tuberculosis, and prostate disorders. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African milk tree, used to treat pain, ulcers, and skin conditions. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African cancer bush, used to treat respiratory tract infections and menstrual pains. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredient to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. African pepper bark tree, used to treat respiratory tract infection and STIs. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profits. Traditional medicine has existed in Africa and China for thousands of years. Traditional African medicine is a range of traditional disciplines involving indigenous herbalism and African spirituality, typically including diviners, midwives, and herbalists. Rooibos, or African red tea, used to treat inflammation, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. Dried can be brewed into a reddish-brown herbal infusion. Pharmaceutical companies have patented some active ingredients to sell for profit. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax when possible, attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. African Traditional Medicine Day on the 23rd of August each year. 25 African Union member states have taken the commendable step by integrating traditional medicine into their health sciences curricula, with 20 of these countries also developing training programs for both traditional health practitioners and health sciences students. These efforts are essential for ensuring that traditional medicine continues to thrive in a scientifically informed and culturally respectful manner. Demotivatorshow. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. Mixcloud too.